Welcome to episode 502 of This Week in League. I'm Nate.
And I'm Jay.
And I'm Glenn.
How you doing, fellas?
I'm Glennie and I'm on the Henny.
Jesus.
You told me that was my project. I've started. It's going to develop from there.
What's your project? To
Last
say the
week,
white, to
you
say the
have the
whitest
fucking-
thing you can think of
You have
at
the
the beginning of every
retention
show.
of a fucking colander. Do you not remember our last episode?
No, I do. I do. Well done. Glennie on the Henny.
I wish I didn't. Frankly.
I'll be honest with you. There's 501 I wish I didn't remember. But here we are.
Yes. Well, I mean, I can tell you for a fact there's 501 that I don't fucking remember. Not a word of.
What is that, eh? Like,
It's just,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, fucking you said that, did I? It was yesterday.
And this
it might have been.
and this is including episodes where in the first, like 30 or something, where I would spend so fucking long editing them.
Yeah.
Like listening to so it wasn't like I was just there during the recording. I actually did listen to it like very slowly over and over at times.
Yeah.
In places. But do you think I can remember anything? Nope.
The amount of times people hit me up and call me all sorts of names for things I don't even recall saying.
I
Yeah,
think
a lot of people do that.
the biggest tell is that it took sort of 200 odd episodes before the bright idea dawned that when an episode title appears in an episode, you write it down. Because you get to the end of the episode and go, what are we going to call this?
Oh, I
And
used
I've
to
no
love,
fucking idea.
I used to love
year?
sitting at my desk at my job in Brisbane and just getting random emails from Nate going, fuck, are we calling this thing?
Yeah.
Those are the days.
Look, and look, with full transparency, like, I mean, has any episode titles been written down this year so far? No, they haven't. And so it is a fucking mad scramble through the dark recesses of the brain, trying to think of something that was fucking said.
Fuck yes. I love it.
So yeah, I do have a thing open tonight though. So I mean, if anyone says anything good, I will be writing it down. But
Glennie on the Henny.
yeah, no, I think we can do
Yeah,
better than
you
that
say
over
that
the next
now.
hour.
But tomorrow...
I'm not. Look, I am so confident. I'm not
Pure
even writing it down
desperation.
as. I'm not even writing it down as a fucking backup of a backup. Shit's terrible. Get better.
That sounds
Get to
like
the
the world's...
Tigers review, and it'll be fucking Dano on the Drano.
That sounds like the world's worst fucking reboot of Henny Penny. It's Glennie on the Henny runs around. The Tigers are declining. The Tigers are declining.
And I'm sponsoring the 1988 Newcastle Knights.
Let's get through this shit so we can talk about the Tigers game, because everyone knows that's what they're here for.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good idea. All right, if we're going straight in, Thursday night, Panthers 16 defeated the Rabbits 10 out at Penrith. The Panthers scored their 16 points through tries to Brian To'o, Stephen Crichton, and Isaac Tungo. Cleary, 1 conversion. Crichton, 1 conversion. The Rabbitohs 10 tries to Alex Johnston and Isaiah Tass. Mitchell, 1 conversion.
Statement made. Windscreen repaired. Back.
I
Business
think improved. It was an improved performance, and not the only time this week. Their opposition, I think. I mean, like when they carried on with all that shit about like Parramatta's our sons and shit or whatever. No, south of their sons. I mean, they
are their stepsons.
south of their sons, because Parramatta beat them, every time last year except when it counted. Rabbits, however, ever since that grand final a couple of years ago, they've been head fucked ever since. And so when you get a Rabbitohs versus the Panthers game, you get the distracted, fucking easily baited, cranky Cody Walker, that's also the Cody Walker that does fucking nothing except make mistakes.
Yep.
And when that happens, it's already done at that point. I mean, so like they're literally beaten before they fucking take the field. And it doesn't matter what Penrith. It doesn't matter how Penrith are going at the time either. It's because that the relationship is such that does slip into their does slip into a confident of winning space, and the Rabbitohs in the niggle head fucked space.
Look, I'm all for, and I want to applaud Latrell for it, because what he said was absolutely correct. Penrith came in, and they were supposed to easily win that World Club Challenge. They turned up and didn't really care. Then it was, that was just a World Club Challenge. It's round one now. They'll have their game faces on. It's serious time now. They'll easily beat Brisbane, and didn't do it. So he was absolutely right. There were some chinks in this armour. That team, what did they lose? Like 3 games, including a grand final over 3, or like 5 games, including a grand final over 3 years. Absolutely fucking ridiculous stats. And it's 2 in a row. Bang, bang. So he's right. There were some cracks in the windscreen. So I don't have anything against what Latrell said. The issue is exactly as you pertain to, that they don't have a plan to back it up. And the minute shit doesn't go their way, they don't have another option to dig in and get themselves out of that funk. From Penrith's side of things, it's very clear that they made some adjustments from the week before. And while I'm not sure that Mitch Kenny is the future, in fact,
they've not completely adjusted Mitch Kenny out of the 17.
Yeah, no.
So,
but he had an improved showing. You know, in some key areas like the accuracy of his service and where he was getting the ball to, depending on where the key playmakers were. But
and in the sense that he played less minutes.
Yes, true.
Which is also a positive outcome for his game. I find the most important minutes of Mitch Kenny's performance are the ones when he's not on the field and Sonny Luke is.
Escorted off the field after being HIA.
From South's point of view, their hands let them down. You know, when you go up against a team like Penrith, you can't complete at 68% and expect to be in the game or gain any sort of dominance. And for the Rabbitohs to come back as they did, to me, that's the next thing that Penrith really have to clamp up, because in the years past, they would have just had that game by the scruff of the neck and gone on with it. They were never a team that took their foot off the pedal, and I think they eased up a little bit, and South got back into the contest.
I think it was there was massive strategic blunders from South in the sense that they didn't really use Latrell.
He was barely sighted until the last 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then when he decided to step up and try and make something happen, guess what? Shit started happening for him. All too fucking late, but all the same.
You know, what is the most basic goal when you spread a ball? You're trying to strip numbers from your defence on an edge. And putting Latrell there automatically guarantees the attention of at least 2 defenders.
Yeah.
It's not fucking complicated football.
I feel like Cody Walker is doing Ilias a disservice when he has games like this, where it was very early on you could tell that the mist had descended and that he was going to have one of those games. And I just... It's just that lack of resilience which not only impacts his game, but then it heaps pressure on Ilias. And I don't think Ilias had a bad game, but I just think he needs Cody Walker to be the guy that is essentially trying to lead the way as the more experienced of the two halves. And Cody... And
he needs a team. He just needs a team to fucking... catch the ball too.
Cody getting in his own head
because halfback can't make something happen with only 60-something%.
Cody getting in his own head in the last in the first fucking 5 to 10 minutes doesn't help anyone. Certainly in a red and green jumper.
No, he's a dead set fucking liability. Like one of the bigger liabilities in the game is that head fucked, niggly Cody Walker when he gets in that mindset.
It also and I know Ilias is young, very very young, but I've always found it interesting that that NRL side works like a fucking government office. That seniority just predicts hierarchy. So when Adam Reynolds was there, and Dylan Walker didn't have to worry about actually being an organizer or taking on any sort of responsibility.
Cody, you mean?
Cody.
Sorry.
I know. It's fucking. I've been on that many fucking Dylan Walker rants. It's muscle memory. But then as soon as Reynolds ships off, they bring in this young kid. All of a sudden, Walker's supposed to be the senior and the organizer, and it doesn't work. Whereas you look at somewhere, and Melbourne do this really well. When Jerome Hughes came in to cover off after Cooper Cronk left, Cameron Munster is still a major part of that attacking line, but Jerome Hughes still played that 7 role and took the responsibilities that Cooper Cronk had.
Yeah.
And that's been a much better pairing. So, you're right. Cody Walker, liability. Ready for the socials?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Graham in a Facebook group. He said, the good guys defeat evil yet again. At some point, even the mainstream media will wake up to Latrell not being a fullback. P.S. Please stay fit enough to play centre for New South Wales, you fat, talented coward. Brendan. A lot of these comments mirror exactly what we've just gone through, but is there a weaker mind than Cody Walker? He's a fucking liability within 20 minutes. Even the commentator was saying Cody is getting angry in back play. Gus. I bag him enough, so it was great to see Luai put a shift in, and I may be a stupid pom, but I've been paying for the NRL for years now and can't recall Cody Walker rising in a big game. Great game, credit to both sides. Kevin. Penrith was so fast this game, it seemed like Souths were moving in slow motion. The Rabbits' defensive effort in the first half was amazing, though, and Cody Walker is an absolute anchor. Tilt the angry little smurf, he's useless. Rory, new to the group, he said Cody Walker should get a job at O'Brien's. No one fixes another team's cracked windscreen like him. That's a good one. Cameron, also new to the group, said Cody Walker tripping over and dropping the ball, trying to aggressively push the marker in a brain snap is the best thing since razors were invented. You love to see it. It was fucking great. Jared Wetton on Twitter. He said, other teams will win against this Panthers side this year, but never this Souths team. Prelim finals max with the roster. I reckon that's about right. But yeah, the Cody Walker getting up to try and push the marker away and then falling over. Because
there's nothing worse than like the head fucked red mist Cody Walker.
Yeah.
The one thing that is worse is when that Cody Walker starts making mistakes and shit as well.
Yeah.
And it's and it must be so frustrating for like the team, like because they see it. I mean, it happens probably like 5 times a year, easily. Yeah, and it doesn't always happen when it counts. But I mean, yeah, when you're playing like the Panthers, I mean that's a game when it counts because you're probably going to see them later anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
The Sharks 30 defeated the Eels 26 at Combank Stadium. The Sharks 30 came through a hat-trick to William Kennedy, tries to Mulatalo Nikora, and 5 from 5 conversions to Braden Trindle. The Eels 26, a double to Mitchell Moses, a double to Mike Acevo, Regan Campbell-Gillard with the other try, and 3 of 5 conversions to Moses.
Contrasting fullback performances in this game. I thought Kennedy had not only 3 tries, but a lot of just absolute class touches for Cronulla. Contrast that with Gutho, whose best moment was mouthing off to Katoa after Sivo had scored by running over the top of him. And Sivo, the guy that actually ran over the top of Katoa, actually got up, pat him on the back. Sorry, mate. One of those things.
Yeah.
Gutho, who had nothing to do with the play, is standing over him, mouthing off.
No. I mean, like, I like, a bit of trolling and shithousery and stuff, but just the general level of it across the fucking league at the moment, it's just, just seeing these fuckheads just gronking off.
Yeah.
And Panthers are obviously terrible for the moment, but the Gutho and Moses terrible for it as well.
Yeah.
Consistently, week in, week out.
Yep.
This game, though, this was defence optional. This game, I mean, there was some decent tries scored and reasonable performances from both sides, but fuck me, the defence of both sides is like there's absolutely nothing to fear in either of them. Those couple of
tries that Cronulla scored back to back, where Nikora, hit a hole and went through
like back to back in like 15, 20 minutes.
Same fucking play and just ran through himself. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I thought Trindle was very impressive for the Sharks. There's a lot of talk in Sharks Town about who gets the 6 when Nico's back. And if I'm picking that side, Matt Moylan is not my first choice.
I didn't think Moylan had a bad game.
Yeah.
In this instance,
He didn't have a bad game.
I don't think
this
he had a bad
was
game
just
either.
this was just like, probably one of the better games that Trindle's had, because he's played well at times,
Yeah.
but also he more often he looks as like the guy that's not quite good enough to get the starting job and be the guy
Yeah, 100%.
on a full-time basis. But this game, he
looks
was
solid
great
defensively as well, which is something that Moylan's never been.
and he got some good kicks as well for the conversions.
Fuck me though, the Sharks look fit. The last couple of years, Penrith's come out and obviously been the benchmark to be able to go the 80 minutes at full throttle.
Yep.
Fuck me, that Sharks team, it honestly looks like they've gone that, well, let's just get the fittest, most athletic cunts we can and then hope they pick up rugby league as we go. Like skills optional. Just fuck, there's some handling errors in them.
Yeah.
But that team, and I'm not sure it's this year, but there is some potential in that team if they can keep it together.
big result too, given Nico's out and they're playing against, grand finals from last year, and to get the win.
Yeah.
It's a big result.
Yeah. Well, he's the reigning Dally M. So, socials on that one. Anything else
Hang
you
on,
want to say?
first, I got one thing.
Go.
Just an interesting piece of trivia for this game. Despite the 2 tries to Mitchell Moses, obviously his side losing the game, and what that now means is that Mitchell Moses, you can take the boy out of the Tigers, but you can't take the Tigers out of the boy. He has lost his 50th, 100th, 150th, and 200th matches. Cannot fucking get up
On occasion.
for an occasion. Just like
didn't attempt
how many
to
of
do the
Tigers
job.
for Tommy.
But how many of those were with the Tigers, though? Because I almost feel like they shouldn't count.
Well, no, he would have certainly 150 and 200 Parramatta.
Are they?
Maybe 50 and 100 are Tigers.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe.
Okay.
How long has he been at the Eels now?
3 years?
Nah, it's got to be more than that, hasn't it?
Glennie?
It's more than that, isn't it? It was around the time when Ivan was still at the Tigers, because remember there was a whole thing how he wasn't going to play him, and he had the shits about that. So I was saying we're back to like more 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fuck.
So
maybe if I cared more about Mitchell Moses.
2017,
yeah.
he joined Para.
Okay, so how many games did he play for the Eels then? Have you got that in front of you? He'd be close to have done 100 for him.
67 for the Tigers. He's played 133 for the Eels.
There you go. He just got that 50th in before he left, and the rest of those ones are all on the Eels.
Yeah,
Eels on the Eels.
Fuck yeah. And he played 67 games for the Tigers. Jesus Christ.
The way they suck off his ghost, you'd think he played 300.
Yeah. Fucking hell. There's the episode title for you.
Sucking off a ghost.
Ghost of Moses. Oh, that's brilliant.
Right.
Ectoplasm facial.
Right, so you got socials, right? Yep.
Benny Dunn. He said a bag of Mitchell Moseses for everyone. John in the Facebook group said, fucking shambles. 2 winnable games, and we're starting the year 0-2. If Mitch Moses thinks he holds the advantage in his contract talks, he doesn't now. I hate to tell you, John. Yes, he fucking does. Because you're Parramatta, and you have 0 other options. Because no one else wants to come to your fucking dumpster fire of a club. So Mitch Moses actually holds all of the cards.
And as cucked as they are, I mean, the West Tigers would take him at the 11th hour if things completely broke down.
Yeah. And so
They would
all he will
gladly
do
take
is
him back.
use those clubs to drive up the amount of money that your club pays him to achieve no results.
Correct.
Welcome to Parramatta. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Timmy McIntyre. He said Para were bad when King Nutho was off the field with an HIA, but worse when he was on. Jeff.
So Timmy he's fully Dolphins now,
He's
right?
Dolphins. Fins up.
Yeah. Right.
That's it.
It's improved his head.
Another disappointing loss in a tight game, and it doesn't get any easier in the next few weeks. But if Hopgood doesn't get a starting spot over Ryan, I get paid whether I play or not, Madison. These cunts are kidding themselves.
He was good, Hopgood, too.
Yeah, he was.
Madison's got another, was it 3 or 4 games that he's out?
Wasn't it only
I
a
thought it was
4-game
only 4,
suspension?
so he should have two more done.
Yeah.
Should be 2
Yeah,
more.
that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Or is it round 4 he's back? The number 4's in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Gus, hard to criticise a game I enjoyed so much. Would be different if Moses had as much involvement as Brown. I don't know. I'd like to see more from Sivo, though. Needs to get in more and use his size and power. I agree with that. Needs to inject himself a couple more times.
He needs to have as many involvements as Toto. And he could, the guy's a fucking...
He used to though, because remember, think back first. It started for Parramatta. It started with Semi, and the strategy was just pass it to Semi, and then he would use his physicality just to blast through. And Sivo was the same. He was just a battering ram that they could just give it to him and he'd find a way over. I feel like
Semi would go looking for the ball though, more often than Sivo does.
I just think that Parramatta have just the Parramatta side of this year and the last year, they've just got more options where he's not the only fucking show in town, and so it just gets spread around more, and perhaps gets neglected because of that. But yeah, I just think he's not the only show in town like he used to be.
The only show in town. What a nickname. Richard. Moses getting the slightest brush across the face and faking for an 8-point try highlights why so many people don't like him. He has brilliant football in him, but all too often his mind is not in the right place. Too distracted by cheating bullshit. Our old friend Gio Ree on Twitter, he said, "Hey, this week in league, I just rejoined Twitter to say Moses is a fucking cat." There you go. Nice to see you back.
Powerful incentives. Powerful.
There we are. Next game.
The Brisbane Broncos 28 defeated the North Queensland Cowboys 16 at Suncorp Stadium in a good crowd of over 43,000 in attendance. Broncos 28 came through a double to Ezra Mam. Kurt Capewell, Katoni Staggs, Reece Walsh with tries. Reynolds 4 from 6 conversions. Cowboys 16 a double to Jeremiah Nanai and 4 goals to Valentine Holmes.
Right.
This is another one that I find very similar to the South Sydney. Great performance from the Broncos.
Yeah.
Let's just get that said straight away. But the Cowboys, from the fucking word go, were in this space where they were some of the poorest discipline I've seen from them in years, even predating, Ming the Merciless being their coach. And, just fucking repeated brain snaps too. It wasn't enough for Drinkwater to get the bin. They just that didn't settle them down. They didn't take stock and say, look, let's just fucking chill. Nope. Let's just keep fucking doing shit.
Get someone else in the bin to keep him company.
And ultimately, there was a try there at the very end to Reece Walsh when the Cowboys were chucking the kitchen sink at them to try and get the try to tie it up. But that sin bin to Drinkwater and the try scored almost immediately after. That was really the difference in the game. But the Broncos are disciplined. Reece Walsh played probably I think by far and away the best game of his entire career.
Was it his debut or the first time he played against the Tigers? So you'd probably give the edge to better opposition. But
you're going to compare you're going to compare a nothing game.
Yeah.
I just remember him
to a game that's
amazing
to a derby that has been fucking consistently meaningful for the two participants for fucking decade.
Yeah, just saying, he was fucking great in that game. He was great in this game, as I said he would be.
This
and
game,
fucking laughed at me. Anyway, now you guys are right and I'm wrong. I don't know how that works out because I was wrong last week.
Well, again,
look,
Glenn, you're right.
Yuck it up. There's a Tigers game to talk about, buddy. So just fucking keep a lid on it, eh?
We should have listened to the Broncos fan in the group. You are right, Glennie.
Yep. Your second team did great, Glennie, and you called it. So credit where it's due.
He was good. Whether he can perform like that consistently is another thing. Impressive combination with Ezra Mam as well, who I thought also had a fucking great.
Cowboys kept the. He had a great one of those great games in the sense that he just did he was just there pushing up all the time for his guy. Yeah. So he was always there to get to get that kick for that first try. I mean, that would look for all money that it was just going to whoever the Cowboys guy was coming, to mop it up. I mean, so the speed, but also the fucking placement, like of that kick from Corey Oates. He couldn't do that again if you asked him to.
No.
To do it that, like, it was absolutely perfect. Just the way it bounced up, like
you said about the Cowboys, though, they looked a bit off in this game, and they've now got Drinkwater, who's a massive part of what they do. He's gone for a month. That's a big hole potentially if they don't get it right and get. They've got no Hammer now to step up in his place either as like a ready-made replacement.
He's a bigger loss than I thought it would be.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like he was fantastic for them last year, but just looking now at the options that he would have given them on that side, he's a bigger loss than I thought he would be. Remind me, how did the Cowboys start last year? They weren't fast starters, were they?
You mean starting games or starting the season?
Starting the season.
I think I thought they were surprisingly good from pretty much the word go, weren't they?
Were they? Okay.
And people were sort of waiting for the
penny
to come out.
Yeah. They didn't look as fit, as I thought they would have been coming into the season. But who knows what that is. On the socials, Jason in our Facebook group, he said, "I'm balls deep in the same false security as last year, and I don't give a fuck. Different side with Walsh and Ezra." Jay, he said, "Hard-earned win for the mighty Bronx against the shit cunt Cowboys in a handicap match featuring Scott Dogwater and refs."
What the fuck?
That guy is the worst sort of person that refs faults after a win. There's a special place in hell for you. It's right next to pedophiles and people that take their shoes off on aeroplanes.
Or in the movie theatres.
Or call movies films. Tigers for 17th on Twitter. He said the best thing about Reece Walsh is his first thought when in space is to set up his teammates. Some other fullbacks could do worse than taking a lead from his book. I'm not sure I agree with that. The first thought in space should be fucking run.
The thing is, he wasn't really in space. I mean, he was chiming into the back line and basically drawing more attention to himself through his speed and skill.
Oh, I know.
Which then provided space for your Herbies.
Fuck, how good's Herbie Farnworth? Once
you got him,
and he only really tie him up so quick and just never let him go, wouldn't you?
I feel like he's gone to another level since he signed the contract, though. Like he was decent. And I think the Broncos fans were higher on him than I ever was. But this season, since the ink dried, he's been legitimately fucking great weapon. Broncos.
And we'll give the final word to our good mate Cruzy. He said, "It's refreshing to have a fullback who has some decent footy IQ, and my boy Ezra slowly showing why the Bronx have spent the time to develop this kid." Yeah, let's see Ezra perform over the course of a season.
It's very magnanimous of you, Cruzy, because, I mean, knowing you like I do, I happen to know that you were the person who developed Ezra at Souths. And then let him go to the Broncos, and he was a fully formed first grade player by the time he left your care and tutelage.
Yes, which means you've got a lot to answer for.
He's too modest.
Yeah, so Broncos fans, we have Cruzy's phone number. So every time Ezra Mann makes a mistake this year, just give us a DM and we'll pass that along to you so you can let him know how you feel. Happy to do it. As a community service. Next game.
Roosters 20 defeated the Warriors 12 at Allianz Stadium. The Roosters 20 came through a double to Jackson Polo, Sam Walker with the other try. Walker also with 2 conversions and 2 penalty goals. The Warriors 12 came through tries to Wade Egan and Adam Fanua-Blake, and Johnson 2 out of 2 conversions. Who's going first?
No.
The Roosters are not convincing.
Well, no, I mean,
as in, there were teams that had poor first outings and backed up this week and showed improvement. There's the Tigers, who just kept tigering, And then there's the Roosters that had probably the easiest chance this week to come out and give a statement. Like they were rolled by the Dolphins in their first game, and probably a little bit of an ambush, it's fair to say. But they had one of the easier oppositions, away from home, long road trip. Typically don't play well against them. And just didn't really seem to be in sync with each other at all.
Can I just say as well that, if you look at the best performing player, let's say, of last year for the Warriors, and their two best performing players this season, they lost all of them during the course of the game.
Yeah.
Josh Carr and Jackson Ford and Charles Nickel-Klokstad.
Yeah.
So it was all there for the Roosters to really go on with it.
It was. And, say what you want about the Roosters, but one thing I've always found them is well drilled. Like coming into preseason, everyone's usually on the same page. Robbo doesn't strike me as the sort of guy that would send a team into round one underprepared. But that team looks like they're still trying to fucking learn what they should be doing mid-game. And it's only round 2, and there are still so many fucking rounds to go. And the further you get into the season, the more cream and talent will rise to the top. And they have some fucking talent on that roster. There is no doubt about that.
And they will get troops back as well.
That's it.
Regardless of how they perform, that will go down as an important win, given how many troops they're down on, especially through the forwards. For the Warriors, you mentioned Josh Curran. He was fucking outstanding. He was great for them last year, and he looks to have gone to another level so far this season. Just his clean-up work and his effort plays, which often go fucking unnoticed, but are so important to a side like the Warriors that are probably still trying to work out who they are and how they're going to play in the competition. He's someone you can really build around. But I think the Roosters are, the more results they can get like this while they're off their game and they're, not able to lay the same sort of platform that the halves and Tedesco are accustomed to playing behind is key.
Yeah. I'm still disappointed in their spine. Just from the point of view that... Now, I know that, Kiri's playing with fucking kid gloves all over him. He's probably terrified of actually getting hit. But you have representative quality spines. And Brandon Smith's not going to acclimatise to that team straight away. But there just doesn't seem to be anyone that's setting guys where they need to go the right way for them.
Hurt. I think that Kafusi hit last week fucking...
You reckon he's hurt
had
still?
More of an impact than they're letting on. And then the...
Yeah. Well, he didn't play in the second half, so yeah.
Yeah, true. That would explain it. Fucking Kafusi, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, he's making me like him.
He's next.
I mean, I know we're not talking about that game yet, but he's the way his accent comes is like he's making me like him after like a career at the Storm where I hated the guy and Queensland origin obviously as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
But yeah, since he's lost the Wanda Sykes hair and turned the Jada Pinkett Smith, he's actually turned me around.
Fuck yeah. On the Warriors, Glennie, let's say they give you that team, right? On paper, you look across that and you go, fuck, that forward pack should be mobile and should have an amazing roll on once they get going. We've got decent halves and we've got some fucking athleticism and strength out the back. Where do you go with that team?
9. And that's not a massive slight on Wade Egan. I think he's a solid footballer, but I think those forwards need a 9 that is bringing them onto the ball far better than what he does. And with that then comes over the advantage line. You can coach them to get quick play of the balls. That gives Johnson and Tamare Martin time and a bit more time and space than what they've otherwise been accustomed to. And then you've got Nickel-Klokstad off the back of that with those guys with time and space and him picking his moments. They have the makings. I just think Wade Egan is the job that is required of him to get the best out of the forwards is a little bit beyond him, in my opinion.
beyond him,
Well,
or
I
he
guess you
needs to
could
be
probably
coached
say
better
that
into
there's
it?
an argument to say, okay, let's give him the opportunity to be that guy. So that then the onus is on the coach to coach it into him. So.
Because and you've said exactly what I was going to say as well. Because everything that came from him or came out about him at Penrith is that he was an insanely coachable player and would take on board absolutely anything and work to any schedule and train with whoever the coaches would set him up with. But yeah, there just doesn't seem to be any growth or improvement for him at the Warriors, which is a shame. Anything else you want to say on that one, Nate?
Nah. Hit the socials.
What do we have on the socials? Terry, rocks and diamonds from both sides. Roosters should be in trouble for players playing on with concussion, but they won't be. Thoughts?
I think the Roosters are one of the more careful sides about this sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, Radley wasn't there, you know what I mean?
I've cut your name off. Sorry. Who would have thought that defending in 35-degree heat over and over again gets you fatigued? Sean Johnson's kicking game is Frankston Beans. Pompey offers nothing to rugby league and should be banned from stepping onto the field.
That's a bit harsh. I mean, Pompey did fucking win the game last week with his defence.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Like, let's fucking, how quickly we forget.
Oh, there you go. My fucking copy and crop and paste games off fucking Rocks and Diamonds this week. Because I've cut this person's name off too. Fuck me, Warriors. Don't start me on your plane crashing on the way home again. I'm going to have a fucking stroke one day. There you go. From disappointed Warriors fan. 1, 2, 3.
Right. And we move along to the Dolphins 20 defeating the Canberra Raiders 14 down there at Redcliffe. And the sellout house as well. The Dolphins 20 came through a double to the Hammer. Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, Tom Gilbert with a try, Osako 3 conversions from as many attempts and a penalty goal. The Raiders 14 tries to Whiten and Kotrick, Fogarty 1 conversion and 2 penalty goals.
Again, this game they went behind. They hung into the game and managed to finish over the top of the Raiders, who fucking... When the big plays were there and needed to be made, they were found wanting, and the team that's played the grand sum total of one other premiership match managed to get it done. Of course.
Yeah, down 12-0 with a man in the bin too.
I
think
it's great,
the Raiders, the Starling riddle is one that they really need to get to the bottom of and find out where his place in the side is, and have him play there consistently. I think he's got a lot to offer, but he seems to be playing a bit of a Mr. Fix-It and just being thrown in willy-nilly to the side with not a great deal of structure, which is doing him a disservice and not getting the best out of him. That's one I think Ricky needs to work on, as well as his ability to stop making fucking shitty excuses for his team not being able to get the job done. I think for the Dolphins, I think their style is going to win plenty of games. I know it's still very early in the season, but they may not trouble the top 3 or 4 sides in the competition because they lack that extra element of class and that top echelon of player, which all those top teams have. But to quote the great Michael Maguire, the fucking Dolphins are always in a fucking game.
Yeah,
they are.
And at this stage of the season, it's like that can be enough, as we're seeing.
Yeah, that's it. And again, it's only round 2, and they've won 2 games.
Yep.
And it is very possible that they go on and lose their next 10, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah."
You can already rattle off 6
in
sides
looking over,
that may or may not be always in a game already.
There are probably maybe 7 or 8 sides that are going back to their fucking calendars and going, fuck, that's not going to be as easy as we thought it would be. But looking at it, one of the reasons that I'd rationalise that they wouldn't be, big trouble to most teams was that while Sean O'Sullivan was a suitable 7 and he did a great job for Penrith last year when deputising for Cleary, I think it was Nate that said it's easy to deputise for somebody when you're behind the best forward pack in the history of rugby league.
I was like,
I can't imagine that'd be something that I say.
I'd see the go of that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was how you said it.
That does not sound like something that would have come out of my mouth.
You know, when you're running around with the greatest lock to ever play the game, and the best fullback in the league.
We need to get Nate checked for HIA.
I think it was something like that you said. Anyway.
Yeah. I think we need to get Jay checked for HIAs because he's clearly.
No, I'm pretty sure you said it. But, look here, and that was one of the reasons I rationalised that, okay, yeah, cool. So he was good behind a back-to-back premiership winning forward pack, which he won't have at the Dolphins, which is where I've made half my error. If you look across that forward pack, most of them are either rep players or prior premiership winners or both.
Yeah, I mean they're probably on the wrong side. They're on the wrong side of on the hill for their career.
They are,
but I mean, just from a level of level they've played at, and just general professionalism from where they've played prior.
That's it.
I mean, it's a solid base there, and at the moment that's all I need. But I mean, then you get guys like Kafusi who's literally grown another leg since he's obviously taken this this challenge to heart.
Yeah.
And is fucking playing out of his skin.
Yep, 100%. He's relishing being a groundbreaker at this club.
I think O'Sullivan is too.
Being one of the founders. But
I think he's really, grabbed the opportunity for this to be his team, per se. And I think his season, we're going to come to the end of the season, I think we're going to look back and he's at by far a career.
Well, it's like everyone. We could talk about so many players in the team who you could describe as saying they've got their opportunity in there. Katoa gets his debut last week.
Yep.
And he's fucking great, and he's combining with O'Sullivan. And when the match was on the line, he was the guy that put Hammer through for the try.
Yeah.
So great. A guy like Asako, getting dropped to Tweed or Burley or wherever the fuck feeds the Titans.
Yep.
And then he's come in, didn't look great in the trials either, but then when it counts, he's doing a job.
100%. What did you think of when O'Sullivan got sin binned? I got to say, I was taken aback a little by how he was treating himself. I felt fucking horrid for the kid at how down on himself he was for that, as in. Yelling at himself and literally pulling his own fucking hair.
Yeah.
Because of that. Now, I know there's passion for the team, but fucking hell, man. I don't know. I don't know why that hit me
based
so
on
hard.
past
It means
experience,
something.
Probably thought the coach's son was coming the following week, so he's probably pissed off.
The sweet, creamy, warm embrace of the fucking victory sponge roll is something that means something to these kids. All right? You say the club hasn't got fucking history. I'm telling you. There's traditions.
If KO Stadium
and
doesn't get renamed the Sponge Cake,
Jesus Christ.
The
hey,
they're only playing 3 games there. It's a fucking travesty.
And Bennett reclaiming his aura in the twilight of his coaching career, but he has won 15 of his past 18 games against Ricky. And this is going through what you would consider, we're on obviously probably just over the other side of it now, but the golden era of the Raiders under Ricky.
With Wayne's time out.
Yeah, it's grand final and they were
Newcastle.
finals contenders.
South, yeah. Sorry.
Souths.
Yeah. And the Dolphins' first new club to win their first 2 games since the Storm did it in 1998.
Since the Storms. And having a chat with a mate today, on paper, when the Titans entered the comp, on paper, their team was far better than this Dolphins team.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah.
But I'm backing the Dolphins to win that match. Dolphins versus Titans debut team. Dolphins by 50. Fuck the Titans.
50. And the Dolphins have been rewarded this week for their early form. They're actually favourites with the bookies this week.
That's fucking phenomenal.
Yep. I'm loving the vibe, and you can definitely fucking feel it around the area too.
Yeah.
Like people have bought the fuck in
Yeah.
with these guys,
And
so
by
it was
bought,
great.
have shelled out fuckloads of money for merchandise. That's how they have bought in.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I noticed that on the first game in that Suncorp with the new how much because obviously there's a lot of Redcliffe merch out there. I mean they're one of the older clubs in the QRL, but the amount of like the NRL strip,
Yeah.
the NRL merch that was on it in that first game at Lang Park was crazy.
But man, I was at Chermside, which is still north side,
Yeah,
but it's fucking closer to Brisbane than it is to Redcliffe by a fair fucking margin.
yeah.
That shit was everywhere. So I don't know.
And that's how it is. It's how it is when the Titans came in, and it's how it is when the Crushers came in. There are always, because of the way the Broncos run Brisbane, there is always a segment of Broncos fans that are just fucking waiting for an alternative, and when that alternative comes, they'll jump off and grab it both hands. And looks like so far, also Dolphins are
also the benefit
like a
of
disgruntled housewife.
such a long history as well.
looking for someone to hate
the
fuck.
QRL team.
Yeah, but that's a double-edged sword as well, because I mean, we've got friends, and you see people on socials as well that, let's say for example, they are like a Wynnum fan.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking hate Redcliffe. Don't care. Like I mean,
fucking. You know what?
There's enemies that I mean they've got enemies of people who maybe don't support the Broncos, waiting for a new side to come in, but maybe they go for the North Devils or something.
That's the thing, though.
And they hate.
Stop drinking the fucking haterade.
But
Like,
I was
I've
talking
seen
about
Wynnum. There is nothing positive about
Redcliffe
Wynnum.
fans.
Nothing positive has ever happened in Wynnum. Nothing positive has ever happened with anything associated with Wynnum.
Yeah. Oh, Redcliffe fans, I think, by and large, I think they probably just switch straight over.
Well, yeah.
So Broncos fans, What have we got? Socials on that one?
Do we have any socials? Oh, there's fucking socials on that one. Liam, he said, Finns get the wins. Timmy said, I just fucked me a sponge cake. Hashtag Fins up.
Yep, that is true fan behaviour right there. I tell you no.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Steve, the excitement of waiting for the Ricky press conference is better than waiting for Christmas as a kid. Tom, the thing that stands out most for me in this game is how pissed and disappointed O'Sullivan was when he was sent for 10. It shows he's the type of player to build a club around and isn't just in it for a paycheck. I don't know, I was still fucking a bit weirded by that. Poor kid. Ben, Raiders need to get out of Queensland, go home, regroup, and throw Chris off Telstra Tower. How the fuck that bloke gets into a first-grade side, let alone a number 1 jersey, is beyond me. David, torrid wet weather footy, but it helps when you get kissed on the dick with a call or two. Disappointing that Ricky didn't blow a gasket in the presser. Seeing a good old-fashioned meltdown would have been the icing on the cake. Up the Finns and hashtag fuck the Broncos. At Big G Train on Twitter said, Raiders supporter here, and I knew we would lose. Old Wayne just gets teams up. Throw in Ricky gets teams down, and you have a winning formula. One take is Hammer was held back by the Cowgirls. There you go.
Well, he wasn't the first choice in his position, and and that's how it goes. And then he leaves to get his opportunity to start somewhere else, and he got it and
grabs it with 2 flippers.
Yep, fucking loved it. I'll tell you what though, it was lucky they played that game on Saturday afternoon, because about the same time on Sunday afternoon, absolutely fucking bucketed down here.
Yeah.
And just a ton of rain in a really short amount of time, and just the field was just mostly submerged in water. It drains away pretty quickly, but I mean, we just got so much rain within sort of 15, 20 minutes that it just completely filled up.
There was that genius Queenslander was playing golf.
There's such a thing.
Decided to hide under a tree and pick the biggest one.
Was that the guy that got shot by lightning at Brendale?
Well, you fucking guessed it in one.
Yeah. So. I didn't know he was playing golf, but I did hear someone got hit by lightning.
Yeah, like Brendale. The only dumber thing he could have done was run around with his fucking driver in the air, going, come and get me lightning, come and get me lightning.
Yes.
Rejects. Next game.
Okay, where are we? The Doggies 26 defeated the Storm 12 down at the Korean Housewife. Doggies 26 tries to Preston. a double to Carraz. The Fox and Avarillo also a tries. Birdo 3 conversions. Storms a try to Big Nelson, a try to Jerome Hughes, 2 conversions from as many attempts to Nick Meaney.
Everything he touched turned to gold. Busting tackles. Did.
Yeah.
Kick-out came out of retirement as well.
Certainly did. That he was massive in that game. He was leading in defence, whereas, and he's obviously known for his attack. He's a fucking gigantic human and hard to tackle, which makes you a good attacking player. But he was busy in attack while still making very smart decisions and making the job easier for the guys around him. Like, his play out of marker, I think, was absolutely sensational. It was that motivated kick out where he'll get up, be involved in 2 or 3 tackles in a row and then make that last-ditch effort on the 4th one where you can see that he's fucking blowing, but he still manages to get himself up and get there. If they can get that kick out 60% of the time, then he's worth his price tag.
For 60, 65 minutes of this game.
But they were rattled.
Yeah.
They were fucking rattled.
And it's just and the Doggies took the opportunities that they traditionally wouldn't take, because you remember, like, they scored a large amount of those points in the first half when they had the opportunity with the guy in the bin.
Yeah.
When young Tono Pay, I mean, they pretty much I think they scored at least 2 converted tries in that.
Which is
period.
what good teams do. When you have a player advantage, it actually makes it so much easier for you to score the points that you can score multiple tries in that 10-minute period.
Yep,
it certainly is.
Well, I mean, so are you both saying that the Doggies are a good team now?
They were the better team in this game.
No,
you did just say that.
They're a good team. 100%.
Certainly big turnaround from last week getting flogged.
Yeah, certainly was.
And the Storm, well, I mean, we've talked about how the next man up thing and how it looks like the next man, might be a bucket of shit.
The next 4 men up
at the moment, and the next man up thing's just not working like it used to.
Well, it's like the fucking goings on in Ukraine. Eventually, the next man up is either a 65-year-old fucking Ivan with gout or a 14-year-old boy that still fucking has wet dreams every night and doesn't know which end of the gun to fire. And
it doesn't get easier either with Nelson with a knee injury as well.
Yeah, fuck, that's bad. Angry Nelson's fucking fun though.
Yeah,
after talking about Angry Cody Walker being the fucking worst thing in rugby league, Angry Nelson is fucking amazing to watch.
He just gets out the 1,000-yard stare and goes back to Bali, where he's bashing cunts.
It's like that bit in Happy Gilmore where he goes to his happy place.
Because his happy place is just fucking bashing the shit out of Katut.
Just tearing a bintang, fucking
hordes with Southern Cross tattoos running at him, and he's just fucking swinging. Just picks up a scooter and wipes out 9 of them. Yeah, no, he was impressive, and the worst thing about him going off is he's on my fantasy team, so now I have to try and find another forward to replace him, which is unfortunate. But again, it's week 2, and all of the issues that Melbourne have are fixable in the short term. It's not as if there are, glaring defensive deficiencies and systemic rot that's set in that needs to be done. I think most of it can be undone by maybe getting a priest in to perform an exorcism to just get the last of Noffa out of that building. Because there's some sort of fucking aura or curse or I don't know, cunt stain that's sitting in that club exactly where he was, still making his presence felt.
I think you've just nailed it.
Anything else you want to say on that one?
Nope. You've said it all.
Rory. Oh, you ready for the fucking saddest thing you've heard all week?
Sure.
A multi.
We're not up to the Tigers game yet, but sure.
Oh, this is sad. I've actually got sort of pity for this guy. Rory said had a multi paying out $1,400 and only needed the Storm to win.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Bet with your head not over it.
Yeah, Christopher.
If it's flooded, forget it.
He said, I see Kickow went to the Josh Reynolds School of Tackling in the preseason. Fuck, did he get cited for that? Was he on report?
He got binned and put on a report, but the thing is, like these days, when you with a trip, you only get fined though, right?
I know. It's
only like 1,500. It's only going to cost him $1,500 or something. So like it's weird. Like I remember I had people sending me the screenshot of him with his leg out, throwing the big sidekick.
Yeah.
But I'm like, yeah, but you got it. It's not like the days when Josh Reynolds was doing it all the time, and getting suspended and shit. I mean, it's actually now they're just like, fuck it, just 350. I mean, obviously it cost them on the time, like sin bin on the time, but yeah, it's only as far as I recall, it's only a fine offence.
Fuck, did he go to the bin for that? Why don't I remember that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got binned and reported, didn't he?
There you go. Phil, he said, hope those players hug their families before they run out because they're spending the week in Bellamy's bunker. Terry, he said, it feels good to be so far out in front that you can gift the Storms 2 tries and not feel worried. Jason, play better than last week, check. Score more than 1 try, check. Get an unlikely win and stuff up everyone's footy tips, check. Life is good.
I saw people getting 0 out of 8 for tipping this last round.
We didn't see people. You saw a Queensland and Titans fan.
Oh, no, that's one. I mean, it was all over Twitter. People were just lamenting the fucking...
Jesus Christ.
I think I got 3, and that may actually turn out to be a good effort for the week.
Our correspondent from the Oscars, Sammy Boy,
got fucking robbed today by fucking Germans.
Why?
Oh, no, he got robbed. No, he got robbed by Top Gun.
For what? Oh, the soundtrack.
For sound, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Really? Thor.gif?
Jets go broom.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Jets aren't pedos.
It's very, I guess.
Jets aren't, turns out you can't just put a purple Cheats jersey on that dog shit backline and expect them to play like the Storms. And then we'll give the last word on this to a fucking long-suffering Bulldogs fan. Our old mate, GT351 _ Johns. He said, much better effort by the Bulldogs. Great to see the team starting to gel and hopefully improve each week. Some of the youngsters really having a go and great to see the team harmony. Hopefully they keep it up next week against the Tiger Pies. Hopefully
honestly, that was so fucking easy to understand.
Yeah.
And it was concise and it made sense.
I think Cameron Ciraldo's training him.
I think he ran out of Uzo. Now, we're moving on now to the Newcastle Knights 14 defeating the Tigers 12 at our Leichhardt. Tigers with the benefit of 2 home games at their spiritual homeland to start the season. Not you'd fucking know it. Dominic Young with 2 tries, Lachlan Fitzgibbon with 1, and Hastings 1 of 3 conversions for the Knights. The Tigers 12 came through tries to Kapoa and Stefano Toikamanu. Dewey 2 conversions. Now, it's fair to say that one of the teams, they had an excuse in the sense that they suffered tremendous adversity in losing 3 of their players, including their star. I'm doing air quotes. And
3 of their spine.
Plus a sending off as well.
Yep.
And yet they still found a way to win the game. And to win the game comfortably as well, because lest we forget, 6 of the points that the West Tigers scored were like the last fucking minute.
Yeah, garbage time.
So to bring it closer. I mean, and it wasn't, the only surprise about it wasn't David Nofoaluma that scored them.
Should we start calling garbage time Tiger time?
What are you going to say for the socials there?
Why not? Glennie.
Look, revolutionising the game of rugby league takes time.
Glennie, you have the floor.
Patience is required.
No, you're not.
It's you guys.
Trent Barrett's been doing this for years, mate.
Jay, you have said
years,
and you know what?
And he's doing it to the Eels now.
Glennie, Trent Barrett could have coached this team to a win in this situation
multiple times in this very episode. It's only week 2. You just need to have patience. You need to trust. Trust the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the Tigers, it's week 2 of year 12.
Much like Kalen Ponga does, where you can't remember anything that happened like long, short term, long term, or otherwise. You remember that time the Knights beat the Tigers? Not me, and not Kalen either. We're good. We move on to next week. It's only week 2. It takes time to change the way that everyone plays the sport. And sure, once everyone, once they realise the
everyone or everyone in your team,
revolutionary nature of what the Tigers are trying to put
why
together,
you got to change for everyone?
They'll all start playing that way, and we'll probably have a lesser product to view every week. But you just need to give it time to play out. Sheensy knows what he's doing. He's done this before. He's in control. He's a young man. He's got a big future in the game. You just need to give him time to get things sorted.
Can I just put out there how fucking great it is that the Tigers have even found a way to decline David Clemmer, who spent all of his tenure at the Knights being a fake tough cunt when there was 5 minutes left to go and the Knights were in an unwinnable position in the game.
This week he took his tough cunt routine to a new high.
He declined.
He declined so much that instead of doing it with 5 minutes to go, he did it 5 minutes after the fucking final accosting Jackson Hastings on his for his high shot on Tommy TWiL in the first half.
I don't think I've ever seen a situation where something wasn't able to be, fuck mate, I'm sorry, or hey, I want to check on you. Like you hear it
because that's what he was. That's what he was doing. Yeah, and TWiL wasn't having any of it, which leads me to believe Hastings might not be the most popular guy around Tiger Town.
No, the story that came out was that he had a broken nose from an earlier event in the match.
Right.
So TWiL had suffered another injury to his face somewhere.
Right.
At an earlier stage in the match. And apparently thought he was targeted by Hastings.
You're not that special,
or was upset at the treatment that injury got from Hastings. So sorry, I shouldn't say he thought he was targeted. I don't know what he was thinking, but was upset at being hit where he was hurt
after the game. Absolutely fucking brilliant, and it could be fucking spin. It could be completely manipulative bullshit, but fucking played it beautifully, absolutely beautifully. And you said, I don't have anything bad to say about the Tigers. I never will. They brought me back to the NRL. I'm forever indebted to them. I always value my time there. And if they want to talk and they've got stuff to say, then that's they can say and they can talk. That's fine. But I'll never have a bad word to say about them. I'm just like, way to fucking absolutely distance yourself. So whatever he said now from the Tigers, they're like shitting on a guy that's just said, thanks for bringing me back to the NRL. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant. Brilliant PR.
Refuses to engage in it, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The fucking Tigers aren't in a position to have beef with anyone. Like, yeah. Like, that fucking game. Like, and again, to me, it's summed up late in the game. They're behind by 8. And they get the penalty right in front. And there's a cunt in the sin bin. Right? They choose not to take the 2. If I'm sitting there and I'm captain of that team, it's, well, cool. Fucking, you pot that 2 over. That gets us to 6. And then what we have to do is score a try against one man less than us.
Yep.
That should be a fucking doable task
I rang to
for
voice
any first grade team.
Half time. He answers the phone and goes, yeah, who's this? Cunt. Absolute cunt. And then says, no, I've got you saved. Of course I've got you saved in my phone. And sends me a screenshot. It says Carl P. Motherfucker. But apparently,
Carl.
Appy, the captain of the side, was saying take the 2 at that point. Luke Brooks overruled him.
So who overruled him? Oh my God.
Oh no.
Hey, so I saw it today online that the West Tigers have not won a game with Brooksy at 7
What's that even possible?
Since August 2021. with Brooksy at 7. Because remember, I mean, there's times when he'd be, like Jacko pushing to 6 or whatever. But yeah, August 2021, I believe. I don't remember if there was a round on there as well, but I just recall it was August 2021.
Bellowing about, they're going to fucking spread the ball and they're going to be exciting to watch. I was very fucking excited. Excuse me, I wasn't very excited watching that whatsoever. Well, my blood pressure got up, so if that, you can measure that as excitement, but certainly not because I was fucking super happy to be seeing what they were putting out there. They've missed an opportunity. The atmosphere and the crowd that come out to support them 2 weeks in a row at Leichhardt. And Sheen's had a habit back in the day of saying Leichhardt itself isn't going to win us games, and that's true. But it's certainly better than should be better than the alternative. And 2 weeks in a row to kick the season off, two very potentially winnable games, and they've turned out those performances back to back for the first 2 weeks of the season. After an off season where there's been so much change with the coaching and the recruitment and all the rest of it, and the sentiment from Tigers fans is the more things change, the more they stay the same, which is fucking ordinary. And I want to see like I said last year, you just want to see effort and you want to see execution, and just they put themselves in positions where they created opportunities. They had things go their way in the course of the game. Sin Binnings, Ponga being out, which completely changes the level of threat that Newcastle can bring to the table, and weren't even fucking close to being good enough to take advantage.
And that's what we've got to talk about as well.
I'll kick the ball off with Ponga. Yeah.
Can I just, before you do that, can I get into perhaps the greatest thing in this game
today,
was the Tyson Gamble quote that came with. Did you
is
see
that
someone
legit,
posted
though? Is that legit what he said?
What did he say? Oh, that's you're doing the when the scuffle happened. It was quite a long long passage,
right? So it's almost as if someone's gone to fucking Chat GPT and said, "Imagine if a This Week in League host played football and got into an argument."
Yeah.
So, this is at remember when Dewey was cramped or had to stop for cramp or whatever it was during the game. He goes, "Yeah, good one, dickhead. Fucked that one up, didn't you? Yeah, lay there, you fucking pussy. Everyone knows you're faking it. Look at you, tall motherfucker. See, I told you you're faking that cramp. Yeah, come on then, cunt. Hit me, you tosser. Let's fucking go. Yeah, throw those forearms, cunt. Forearms like wet noodles. You hit as soft as the rest of your team plays footy. Come on, dickhead. Got any more? Your season can't get much worse, cunt. Might as well throw a fucking real punch you string bean. Can't fake a cramp to explain being 17th on the ladder."
That is amazing.
Wow.
He's really got me turned around.
I know.
It's one of my favourite players.
Yeah, currently searching eBay for rookie cards. Get on it.
Yeah.
It was a solid hit up from...
Sorry, Glennie. Ponga?
I just... was the level of contact... They're saying it was head... Like... Yeah... Didn't actually see... The first
accidental head clash or something in the...
I didn't realise that there was contact with the head, and I thought he'd just been completely and utterly lights out with a regulation hit up. But what's that? 6 in 10 months.
Yeah.
Like obvious concussions. Yeah.
Four in less. Yeah. Then four.
I heard it was on the start of this game I was listening to on the radio, and I think they said it was 5 before this season.
Mm.
And then he's two in a row. This one, isn't he?
No, last week didn't count as a concussion.
It still adds to the body of work that he's putting together. In the fact that concussions. Last week, call it what you will, but
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's right. and perhaps they could have called it what they did. Last week they maybe should have upgraded that to a concussion or something, which might have sat him out this week, and he wouldn't have dropped so easily
Kiri,
from incidental,
past
contact
territory. And you start to have serious concerns for the guy's career, and we crack jokes and call him soft shell crab and all the rest of it. And I'm completely here for that, but the guy's career could be severely marred with and you say another one or two. Like, what if the next one is a fucking really bad one? Like, what? Yeah.
Well, remember how he couldn't come back last year. Towards the end of the season and everything. So he gets another one of those. And the Knights have just started throwing $1.5 million at him.
Yeah.
Per season.
And I know that we sit there and take the piss, and at the end of the day, it's not Ponga's fault what he's paid, or that the Knights paid him completely for potential and not for any sort of actual tangible, work that he's done. But just for a second, imagine that since at least your early teens, you've been sure of this trajectory that your life's on.
Yep.
And then you work hard and you got some natural talent and that trajectory keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And now all of a sudden, you are really staring down the barrel of somebody going, no, you can't do that. The way you thought your life was going to go, it's now going to go a completely different way. So get ready for everything to change. That'd be a fucking fairly harrowing thing to sit down and face. And I know there are people out there that have faced a lot worse. There are people who have had that happen to them, but it's because a fucking drunk driver hit them and now they're a quadriplegic. Like, I get that shit. But I actually feel a bit for him from a personal point of view. Because I'm not sure he finishes this year as a first grade player. I reckon 2 more of these during the year, because the ease at which they're starting to happen is very fucking concerning.
When you say finish the year as a first grade player, you mean finish
as a professional football.
Finish as a professional football. Yeah. Like, it's not like you're saying he's going to end up being in the Special Olympics or something.
Oh no, he very well could be.
Yeah. All right.
Fucking Ponga Pistorius.
Just clarify. No, that's Paralympics. He might have went fucking mental shooting into the bathroom, but I don't think that's a fucking subcategory in the Special Olympics. But yeah, it's interesting to see how they go. I mean, obviously he's definitely out this week. I've seen O'Brien say.
Yep.
But let's see Newcastle demonstrate a little bit of rigor and care around the way they apply treatment programs and comeback schedules for concussed players.
I think also it need, and I'm sure it'll happen that if it comes out that he does need to go, nah, that's me.
Yeah.
It is crucial that the NRL recognises that they need to release Newcastle from salary cap pressure.
Well, that would be the very definition of a medical retirement, though, because we all saw it fucking happen,
Yeah. So, but again, not even. You know how when Watmo retired? Did he end up getting medically retired, or did they?
He tried it. He tried it from the Para side when he was over at Para.
That's right. Who was it that they tried to do it and the NRL just made it difficult?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, they made it easy. Did they make it easy for Burgess?
Was it Inglis?
Did he really?
Maybe.
Because Inglis medically retired. Didn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember.
And then he went overseas. I'm sure it was him. And they just sort of made it hard. Anyway, yeah, they just need to make it yep, okay, cool, you're going to retire.
What about
here's this thing, just sign this thing saying you're not going to go and play any sort of fucking professional sport anywhere else. Cool.
From the NRL 12 months, 2 years after the fact, and then go out in the paper complaining that they gave their body and their fucking life and heart and soul to the game. You haven't seen the Blake Ferguson stories?
Who's that?
Blake Ferguson. He's just come out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's after he spent some time in it was a Japanese rugby where he didn't get a lot of rugby played because he ended up getting chucked in jail.
Yeah.
Fuck over there.
Yeah, no, see ya.
I think that's just about enough of this game.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, US socials. We've really distracted around the fact that there was like three key injuries in the side and a couple of sin bins, man advantage, 52% possession going in favour of the West Tigers, and they still found a way to lose that fucking game at home.
It was fucking abysmal. It really was.
The real ninth wonder is, why does anyone fucking support that team?
Yeah.
Eighth.
Honestly.
Isn't it funny? They call it ninth wonder, don't they, Glennie? Oh, okay. Should be ninth.
Yeah. Daniel. How good's paying your captain $1.4 million to sit in the vegetable section of Woolies all year? Also telling that when he misses effectively the entire game, we not only don't seem to miss him, we play so much better. Gamble making an early statement for Gronk of the Year already. Fuck yeah. Pencil him in.
I like because what Gamble did is compare and contrast to like the sort of shit that Luai will carry on with or that game. I'm fully there for Gamble's what he did. That sort of stuff is great.
Yeah. Bailey said the Knights did.
I want a TED talk. Calling people cunts and dickheads when they try and stretch out a cramp. That's what I'm here for.
The Knights did everything to hand that game to the Tigers, yet they declined the opportunity. One-eyed Tiger. He said, zero composure, clueless structure, and laughable handling errors are characteristics that are baked into Tigers' DNA. Tigers' decline of destiny from 16th to 17th is pretty much inevitable and very well deserved. Hayden, what the actual fuck did I just watch? Not even with only 12 men on the field, one half gone, hooker gone, and a send-off did the Tigers still manage to lose. Back-to-back spoons, I'm calling it now, and also a second season of Tiger Town about how Sheenius comes home to a destroyed Tigers and makes them even worse than what they were with new players. Ricky, apparently Bateman isn't playing because he doesn't know the plays. Well, neither do the other 17 cunts who played today.
I'll tell you, there was a moment early in the game. I think it was after they'd gone down by by 12 points or 10 points or whatever. But there was a moment where the Tigers were on the attack for like 10 metres out, 5 metres out, and Appy gets the ball and just throws it to a rampaging forward. I don't recall who it was coming up the guts. Guaranteed try. It's something that Appy's done 1,000 times before, right? Except on this occasion, whoever it was he passed, the recipient, Stefano. He just dropped it. just fucking dropped it.
So, Glennie, are you on board yet with the fact that Appy is just there for the fucking paycheck?
No, he's trying.
And if he isn't clocked out already, he's got, I reckon, 2 games in him before he stops giving a fuck.
He'll clock out. He'll definitely be clocked out by Origin if it keeps going like this. So, but he is trying at the moment. But I did see signs where you could see like the exasperation. It was like, oh fuck. So it really does matter who's around you.
That's it. Marla, he said, ironic how the big story in this game was the Knights players going off for head injuries when the other team was allowed to play 80 minutes completely brain dead. Rodney, could Benji be the first coach fired before he coaches the side?
I mean, they're not getting rid of Benji before Sheenius. That is bring the Benji era on faster, right?
No, Sheenius can't fire himself.
Well, no, but
that's
like,
the beauty Pascal of Sheenius being the fucking.
No, but Pascal and and these guys.
Yeah, who knows? Fuck, I'd love to get just one question into Pasco. Is that if your club had shareholders instead of members, would you still be in a job? Answer me honestly. If you were running a business and it had shareholders instead of a club with members, would you still have a job? Love to hear what he thinks of that. Greg, he said, unfortunately, after a series of promiscuous sexual encounters, AIDS has been diagnosed with tigers. Sharky Dave, he said, let's be honest, no one is surprised anymore that the Tigers find new ways to suck. Anyone who honestly still supports them probably needs to be assessed for their mental stability. And Tim said, I hope these two teams are holding back salary cap space for next year because it's hard to believe they're spending the same amount of money as the rest of the comp. At Squatty19 on Twitter. What's our plan in attack? Sideline to sideline, then a drop. Thought new players plus coach would change the attitude and philosophy, but it's the same mentality as last year. Devastated. There you go.
Final game of the round. The St. George Illawarra Dragons 32 defeat the Gold Coast Titans 18 down at Netstrata Jubilee. The Dragons 32 came through tries to Lids, Ben Hunt, Rabalawa, Tyrell Sloan, Blake Laurie, 3 conversions to Lomax, 3 penalty goals to Lomax. Defeating the Titans 18, tries to Khan Pereira, Sam Verrills, and Big Tino, with Tanner Boyd getting all 3 of his conversions.
How good's Lids? How fucking good is he?
This is a surprising result. And I've got to say, when evidence comes up that, might suggest that, perhaps we were wrong, I'm man enough to admit it. I say,
straight.
Ben Hunt, you're probably right. Maybe you guys definitely aren't going to get the spoon after all. I mean, fucking, you train with the cunts. You'd know, Bo. You'd know, mate. I apologise. Especially with what the Tigers dished up this week. I think the landscape's pretty fucking clear.
Was a dominant display from the Dragons in what's clearly...
Hang on.
I can't remember.
Hang on. So who did the Titans beat last week?
Yeah, exactly.
Why you bring up bullshit?
This is where you answer.
Well, no, just hang on. Seriously, who did the Titans beat last week?
We've already been through this. I thought this was a dominant display from the Dragons in an early battle for the spoon, and the Titans showed that they're going to give the fucking Dragons a real run for their money to run last. I still think the Dragons will finish 17th in the season, but their fans like fucking Shane Cash. He's on the other side of the fucking world. He's still bellowing like a fucktard. Finally, I can say whatever the fuck I want.
You can't say that, Glennie.
Okay.
No, you can't.
Finally,
you can't say
St. George has been given time
end bit
to thrive in the Griffin system. The irony is that Day might actually save his job this year after he completely fucked several of them over last year with in and out of the side and dropping them when veteran guys are playing far worse. But Sloan looks very at home in the one jersey, and obviously his talent coming to the fore off the back of Hunt's work behind the forwards who did their job. So Dragons fans, they deserve to be happy, I guess.
Interesting one here. I was thinking today, we're very quick these days to get players and slot them into categories. Slot them into superstars, good players, average players, and shit players. And once they're there, we sort of don't ever really change them. And players decline as they get to the end of their career, or they get old or injured or whatever it is. But Ben Hunt has so fucking clearly improved his craft every year that he's played the game. And I think that puts him in the minority of players. Of course, players get better with age, and forwards grow into their bodies, and they get experience and they play better. But although Brisbane are on a good trajectory now, and they've had 2 very impressive wins to start the season, can you imagine that Broncos team now with current day Ben Hunt in it?
Yeah.
They would be close to premiership favourites. Instead, they've fucked around and done a whole bunch of other shit and couldn't keep a 7 there, and now they've ended up with the most injury-prone man in rugby league. But he's just going to do that thing for the Dragons that he did last year. I don't think he makes them a top 8 side, but he is going to single-handedly drag them to a shit ton more victories than they would have had without him.
A long period of time where that defined Ben Hunt. I think last season, the way that he played, I think that exercised a few of those, most if not all of those demons, and I think he's now regarded for the talent that he is, and what he actually brings to the table as a player. And to the point where that game, which defined him for so long, is now, I won't say a distant memory, but he's certainly renowned and defined by far more than a drop ball in a grand final, given some of the performance that he's had in a team, that had no right winning some of those games.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Other than his influence.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just an interesting thing about our game that teams are so focused on, we need success now. It's taken Ben Hunt, and you're exactly right, Glennie. That was the 2015 grand final. And now we're talking about a season in 2023. So that's a decent amount of time for a club to sit back and, can you imagine any club talking to their fans and going, look, we got this kid. He's not going to be good for 7 years. But once that comes, he'll be able to match it with any other 7 out there on the field.
They said that.
Would you buy that? If the Tigers came to you now, and they said we've got this young kid, no, but then actually have it happen.
Yeah, I'd be fine with it.
Would you be okay with that?
Look, it's on the wrong side, but you're talking to the wrong bloke.
Is 7 years okay though as a time frame?
Of someone that's played longer than that. Still waiting for it to come good.
Well, I'm just thinking from my own fucking experience. I never heard the end of fucking 5-year plan. 5-year plan. 5 year. It took fucking longer than that. From when Gus got in and put the things in place that's led to Penrith's success.
Think that it's just
it was a long
write some
fucking
shit down
time
on a bit of paper and write a heap of checks and it just happens. And the Bulldogs aren't people.
Well, people don't think that. The Bulldogs think that.
It's some players can come in and never realise their potential, and I think Ben Hunt has overachieved, and only by virtue of his hard work.
100% he has.
And like you say, his determination and dedication to improving his craft as a 7. He's overachieved career-wise, and that's funny. It's a funny thing to say about a guy on $1 million a year, but I would not have foreseen that he was going to be the type of player that he is today.
No, 100%. Because you've got to remember, he was paid that $1 million a year.
Yeah.
When there was still Cooper Cronks of the world running around, Thurston was still around.
Yeah,
wasn't he? Yeah, but fuck me, it is just interesting how when we have so many clear examples of to develop, and especially in those key spine positions, you might get away at fullback, maybe, but how long did it take Tedesco to grow into himself? He was always good, but for him, but again. That's fine, but he had to work through and develop his body
he played
to be able to deal with being a professional footballer.
9 weeks with a broken the upper bone in his leg was broken, because he was that mentally fucked at that point of his career that he was like, if I have another injury and it puts me out for my career's fucked. Yeah, and then he got that right, and then he had the next off season, and that's where
I'm gone. Yeah,
but if he hadn't have. It's funny. If he hadn't have played 2 months to end the season with a broken leg, he may not be that guy that he is today.
Yeah. But then the other thing that fucks that up is the media. Here we've got young Lachlan Ilias playing for Souths. A relatively new club with not much history. When did South Sydney join the league? Fucking 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But... everyone's touting him as the next big thing. It's his second fucking year in. Yeah. And we've got this clear example here of this kid that's gone 7 years to reach the sort of superstar level that he's gone to. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Anyway, Dragons did okay. Titans are fucking rat shit. Socials?
Go.
The best thing of being a Dragons fan these days is Glenn having to accept that the Dragons are streets ahead of the Tigers in every aspect of the game. If only his Tiger showed as much resilience as he has since 2010. Lando, good day. Dragons get a win, and the toe from Toowoomba's Tigers showed why they were a lock for the spoon again. The reality is the Dragons generally aren't as shit as everyone thinks they will be. They probably won't challenge for the grand final, but they'll be around the middle of the pack again.
Sometimes
Dean.
talk a bit of shit. Things don't go the way that you planned. It comes back at you. So that's okay. I appreciate it.
Comment of the round here. How good is Jacob Little? An astute signing. Meanwhile, Tigers are signing plotters like Appy. Hammers. Even though the Titans were fucking diabolical, I'll sleep well tonight knowing Blakely still supports the biggest pack of useless cunts in the galaxy. There we are. That's us. We're done.
Right, that is it for the games. Just quickly, footy tips. On top, Kiwi Villa. On top by themselves. They got 6 in the last round, so that's a fucking decent achievement. Then we got KS Clevo and Jenko 11. Samage, there's a blast in the past. They're all 1 point back, and then we ran at the top 10 with Conan the Eel, Real Dad's Doppelganger, Fabsy, Goodnight CJ, and a Sneaky Sneak.
Ooh.
So that's it. That's the top 10. We'll keep track of that through the year. Make sure you get your tips in. Previews coming up on Wednesday. And what else, guys? Help me out here. That's it?
That's us.
Cool.
We're done.
I had a very early fucking morning. I'm so tired. So on that note, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday for the match previews.
Later.